Hey bosses, it's Nina, and I want to come to you today and give you some tips and tricks on how you can ride share safely. Uber, Lyft, taxis, basically when you're traveling, how you can feel safe and still use ride sharing apps in 2019. So I do want to explain to you why I'm doing this video now. This is a video actually that I wanted to do for a while. I travel a lot. I'm actually gone most of the time and I ride Uber. I don't rent cars. I'm actually getting rid of my car probably next month or within the next 2 months. But Samantha Josephson, I want to make sure and get her name right, in South Carolina was a young lady who thought she was taking an Uber. It wasn't an Uber, and the next day she was found dead. And I will link the article below. I don't know all the details just from what I've read. And since I don't know her personally, I want to be respectful of the family. But this has provoked this conversation of, you know, is it safe to take Uber? Is it safe to take Lyft and use these ride sharing programs? And I know that my mother is worried about me as well when I do this, but this wasn't an Uber problem. It wasn't a Lyft problem. It wasn't a rideshare problem. This is something as, and I'm going to say women, but most people have to take certain steps for their safety in Uber. One thing I want to make sure that's clear, I am not in any way victim shaming or blaming. This is not her fault whatsoever. So going forward, just know that I will be talking about my own experiences, my tips and tricks, and how I stay safe when I'm riding an Uber. Also, I'm not an expert. I'm an expert in my life and what I do and how I live, and this has made me feel safe. But take your own steps and reach out and figure out how you can feel safe or different things that you can do to feel safe. These are just from my experiences in riding Uber. The last 4 years that I've been in Atlanta, I primarily take Uber every time I go out and also when I travel. Okay, so I did bring my notepad. This is actually one of the first notepads I decided for my business. I still have it, but I didn't want to forget anything. So one of the things is before I even call my Uber, one of the things, especially if you're a woman who lives by themselves, don't put in your address. I used to put in the address across the street or a building number or whatever, but don't put in your address. So if you do find a creep, he can't come back to your home. I am one of those people that, yes, I've left my keys in an Uber, and thank goodness it was an amazingly nice person who brought it back to me. But if it wasn't, then they know exactly where you live. So don't put in your home address. Okay. The other thing is charge your phone when you go out. I know I'm horrible about this. Also bring a battery pack, because when you're in the car, you want to, one, be able to call people, but two, you want to be able to share your route. When I'm traveling, even if it's across the country, I share my route with my boyfriend. Someone knows where I am at all times. Also within the Uber app, there are these safety tools that you can use to actually report things to Uber as well as share your where you are. So as long as your battery is charged, you're able to do that. So again, just in case you missed it, you can share your route with other people so they know where you are. Next thing, select Uber X or Black if you can. Uber Pool, and I talk to a lot of Uber riders, drivers, not on purpose. I don't like talking to a lot of people when I'm in my Uber, but the people that are doing Uber Pool and they're just getting started out in those areas, usually, this is from my own experience, they're just starting out. They don't have a good lay of the land. Some of those people have just moved to that area. They don't know where they're going. When you order your Uber, you can actually see how many rides, how many successful rides, a little bit about your Uber driver, excuse me. I always look at that information because I know that I can cancel. I am a platinum Uber rider, so that means up to a certain period of time I could cancel without any fees. But I know that even as a regular Uber rider, if you just cancel quickly, there's a time limit, but you shouldn't be charged. But if it feels weird or they don't look like they're equipped to, you know, take that precious cargo home, don't actually get in that car. So check them out before you get there. And again, Select and Uber Black are a little bit more, but they're usually more experienced drivers. A lot of times Uber Black riders are drivers. I don't know why I keep on calling them riders. They're usually professional drivers, like they have a limo service or a limo company or whatever. So this is their job, not the teens, which happens a lot in Atlanta, that are just making a quick buck in between their classes in college, and they're just doing this real quick. Okay, so the next one is you see an image of the car, their face, and the license plate, and this has happened to me. Check the license plate. The license plate has to match. A lot of times, like in Atlanta, you can't see the front license plate, so I'll walk to the back and check it. I don't care. And there's also, you want to pay attention to the car, because sometimes I've seen cars that look like it, and I'm about to get in, and I'm like, oh. Or, you know, there's been times that I almost got into the wrong Uber car. So look at the license plate, look at the car. You do have this app where you can kind of shine the light. So if you're in an airport, you push this button and it shines a light, and the Uber driver has that same light color in their car. I stopped using that because if I'm holding a light, like I'm waiting for an Uber, anyone can come up and be like, oh, hey, that's me. So as you're getting in, what's suggested, and this is hard if you're traveling, because I know this, is that you keep your bags on the seat next to you rather than in the trunk, because then you have the opportunity to just grab and go, right? So you want to keep your bags with you as much as you can. If nothing else, keep your keys with you. Keep your keys, or something where if something happens, you have something where you can, you know, old school women's protection, you know, 101, take the keys, put them in between your hands, and you can jab somebody. Keep something, a pencil, your makeup, but keep it handy so if anything happens, you have that. The other thing is, as you're getting in, you can actually check the child lock doors. You can actually see on the side whether it's locked or not. And I'll try to put a picture here so you can see it. In addition, this is what people don't think about, is the windows. As soon as I get in, I try to roll down the windows, and I'm like, it's locked. Oh, I'm sorry, my nephew was in here. Okay, unlock it now, right? So you want to unlock your, make sure the windows are down as well. Now there's a big debate, and it's funny, a lot of men say they get in the front seat and they feel more comfortable, but the thing is, if they have a gun or a knife, or I don't know what knife looks like, but a knife or something, and they're right next to you, they can stab you, or they're like right there. Now, this is my own debate. Everybody says to sit behind, and that's the safety tip, because they can't really reach around. Go on, reach around, right? They can't really reach around as much. I like to sit diagonal because I can kick them. I'm telling y'all, I think about this stuff, but really you should be sitting behind the driver. Make sure when they drive up, this is one thing I forgot, is that you're not looking at your phone like this, because then they see you're distracted and you're an easy target. So you're gonna stop looking at your phone, you're gonna check all of your things, check the license plate. It's okay that they know that you're a little paranoid and that you're just making sure, because then they know, oh, she's not the right one to mess with today, right? If they just think you're on the phone, then they don't care. They're like, okay, she might be an easy target. So if you put your phone down, you get in, you're making eye contact with them, letting them know you're not an easy target. Also, during the ride, a couple of things. Look at their screen. If their screen has a route, you see this little blue line, make sure they're following that blue line. Best believe if they make a turn, I always say something. One explained to me that he was going to the carpool instead of the route that was taken. I was okay with that, but we had a conversation about that. I do have the bad habit of, once I get on long rides, I start looking at my phone, but you got to make sure not only that you look at the screen, but look at them in the rear view mirror to let them know, I'm watching you, I see you, don't try it, right? So again, when you're getting in, you're checking the car, you're checking the, the windows, the doors. And again, it doesn't have to be this whole like 5-minute, let me do my check. It's just, you're just going around making sure that you're safe. Anybody should understand that. And it's really quick, and you actually get in the habit of doing this. Okay, so if anybody's my friend on Facebook, I post all of my weird and crazy Uber rides. Let me just do this caveat. I ride Uber more than the average person, and in areas where normal people probably wouldn't ride Ubers. There are places that they just got Uber. I've been in places where the person who picked me up and dropped me off at the place I was training was the same person who did the Uber for my my food that I ordered at lunch, and the same person that picked me up at the end of the day. So they don't have a lot of Uber drivers out there. There's a lot of different places that I go that it's just Uber's new, or it's weird. So I have some weird and awkward Uber rides, but in general, they're mostly good. So I wanted to give that caveat, is that if you watch my Facebook, you've seen some horrible Uber rides that I've done. Okay, I say that to say, I don't like really engaging in a lot of conversation. So one of the things is if you are feeling awkward or they're trying to talk to you too much, the fake phone call is easy. I always say something like, hey, I have to take this call real quick. And as long as you have earphones, they don't know who you're talking to. Or you can ask them to turn up the radio, or can they play some music? Or you can just say, hey, I'm really tired, you know, whatever it is. If you don't want to talk or it seems awkward, do the fake phone call or just text somebody and ask them to call you. I already said share your route. That's a huge one. Keep eye contact. Again, when you're putting in your address to go home, do not put your home address. You can put the neighbor's address or a couple doors down or across the street, just so no one has your address. Also, when you get out, do the stop and look. Make sure you don't leave your keys like Miss Nina did. So if you have any other questions or tips that you would, actually, I would love it if you have tips. If you have a safety routine that you follow when you ride Uber or Lyft or taxis or anything like that, let me know, especially ladies, because I just think we need to share this information. Put it in the comments, and I appreciate you watching. Ciao.